Okay, so I've had a few problems with my convertible roof on the E46 M3 recently. Probably been building up to complete failure over the last 2 months or so. There's two things which go wrong here. This is under the rear passenger seat, and this is what you'll see when you just pop off your seat cushioning. There's two parts to this housing. It is just one piece in general, but this plastic cover does pop off the edges. It's really easy. Once you've got the seat cover off, you'll see exactly how it fits in. This just pops off. So fix number one is to replace this cover with a prefabbed one. A guy in America sells this. Takes about 2 weeks to arrive. It is this thing here, and it costs £76. And you may or may not get charged import duty. I did. I had to pay an additional £34. But essentially what this does is it replaces the plastic one, which is quite poor in quality over time because the plastic tabs underneath that hold the gears in place, they wear or break. And once that happens, that's it. You won't be able to open or close your roof. BMW will not sell you this plastic cover alone. You will have to source one secondhand. Alternatively, BMW will sell you an entire housing, which is over £200. So there's a couple of options there. You can either pay full whack for an OEM one or a better quality permanent fix solution, which will mean you'll never have the issue come up again. And I'll put a link to this in the description below as well. So the second thing that goes wrong is the motor itself. Now, if you're opening and closing your roof and you hear a clicking noise at the start or at the end of the opening or close, that typically indicates that the motor drive shaft itself has gone. The drive shaft itself is made of plastic, and the bar that goes into it is square in shape, and over time that plastic shaft wears and it becomes a circle, so effectively it's just spinning inside there and doing nothing, and that's the clicking noise that you hear. So I've got a dissected copy or a version of my housing, which I've done just today even, and I'll show you what my original drive shaft looked like. Not that one, that one. So you can see there the brand new one and the original. So it's essentially become a circle, and that bar inside will just be spinning and spinning and not doing anything, which is the clicking noise. The replacement motor is a Bosch part. BMW one over £100 just to sell you the motor alone. Used examples of OEM ones or original genuine BMW ones are still going for over £45. I found it on eBay for £30, and I had no import duty to pay on this. It came from America, brand new Bosch, and it is a genuine part, and it fits right in. There's no messing around needed. It just works. So I replaced that. It goes in really easily as well. There's only one nut sort of around about here, which you put in a 10mm again, and it screws into there, and that's the only thing holding it in place. To take the cables out is really easy. Once you've got the plastic cover off, it will all make sense. It just pops off and there's no sort of messing around. So once you've got that off, you've got the whole thing dissected. You'll know exactly where everything goes. Everything can only go in one way. The connector cable here is quite fidgety. You just bear with it. It will pop off. It slides out rather than pops off. If you look at the pins, it looks like it might slide in this direction, but it doesn't. It slides in this direction. So just pry around with it for a bit. It will come out. But yeah, once you've got that in, you've put the whole thing back together. The sensor cable just slides in there. There's no clicking or anything in that. It just sort of rests in there. And the main power connector cable just plugs in as well. And then you'll put your prefabbed cover on. You'll put the nuts in place. They don't need to be torqued or anything. They just tighten up. Hand tight is fine. And then you'll make sure this all looks okay, and you're ready to go. And that is it. And this is what it will look like when it's fully in. So that's my roof closing now. So the first stage, the motor kicks in. And now it'll kick in again. So that's it, it's locked in place, and that is the sole purpose of the motor really. It just opens and closes the roof, the first and final stage. And it's pretty ridiculous that it's plastic, but it is. The new one is plastic as well, but that's going to last you another 10, 15 years plus, maybe, depending on how often you use the roof. But yeah, those two fixes will permanently solve your roof issues on the E46.